And we are back, Odell's Roundtable. We're still here with Wlpwr, and we mentioned just working with artist development and that facet. But then also we're talking about the relationship you have with big name artists. Yeah. And the funny thing about it is that when I look at you as far as a lot of these artists you work with, you have seem to be a true relationship. So I look at, I remember when you were working with Big Crit, you show pictures of him in videos that y'all in the studio working together, vibing and stuff. Even with Travis Barker.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy is huge, but it's not like it's hey, I'm just a photo out with Travis Barker. It's like, no, I'm hanging out, we're talking, we're discussing things of that sort. How did that come about? Is that pretty much your MO? You have to have some kind of relationship with the people?
Yeah, I feel like that's what the music is going to convey. I feel like when you have a relationship with a person, let's say you're working on an album, it's way cooler if you know the person better than just, hey, let me just stick you in the room with them. You know what I mean? Hanging out with Travis and Big Crit and all of them, really, man, what's dope about it is you get to see, what a person experiences. And the dopest part about it is there's a point where you get out of being a fan and you start to realize, these are just people.
It's just people,
right? They're just people. I mean, as huge as Travis Barker is, he's the coolest person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody loves Crit's music, but Crit is just a real deal live person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I appreciate that part of it because at that point, and here's a really dope story about that. I was working with Crit on his album. We worked for close to 2 years on the project. And we did a song called Price of Fame.
Yeah.
And what was really cool about that record was I actually caught him in a human moment. He was kind of going through something, and that's when he wrote that song. He picked that beat and wrote that song in a moment.
That's a crazy track, too.
Yeah, I loved it. And for me, I'm not really the single chaser. I would love to get the single. Don't get me wrong. I'm not that guy. But
you work on the project.
But at the same time, I'm also about trying to find a record that's going to resonate and mean the most to the artist. And in that moment, because we had a relationship, I feel like I was there to capture something that maybe someone else who was just pitching him beats or just stopping by, they couldn't get that from him. You know what I mean?
Somebody who's not really invested in it.
Absolutely.
But also, too, it's funny because it kind of goes back to what we said in the first part about how you greet people because, like you said, once you start just addressing those people as just regular people, then you see the back end of it. You don't look at it as Travis Barker. You don't look at it as some big name and everything.
Exactly. So.
Also, so I want to talk about, I talked about, building the studio and everything like that, man. I remember you used to post on Instagram, and I was like, oh, this cat's really?
Yo, I don't know what I don't know what we were thinking, man.
I was like, because I was like, he's really built. I'm like, wait a minute, no, he has a hammer. He has a knife.
Well, yeah. So the whole point of it was, so the year prior to me looking for a facility, I just kind of did a checks and balances thing.
Mention the name of it real quick for the people.
Oh yeah, it's Gray Matter Collective. We have a studio, so it's Gray Matter Collective Studios.
There you go.
But essentially, we were, I was going to studios all year long because as a working producer, I have to write songs all year and pitch records to people.
There's no off season.
Yeah, and so everything doesn't necessarily go down at home. So, I have to come to the city and get studio time and set it up with a writer and all of these different things so we could present records. But those numbers weren't adding up. You look back and you spent, 20, 30 grand in studio time for records that you don't place. I had
that's a good point.
None of those records got placed that year. And so
you put all this time and money into
it. So mentally I was just tapped out. I was like, you know what? We're going to find a way to invest that same money, but we're going to build a studio and be done with it. So I could spend this money once.
Right.
Because we can't avoid it. It's part of what I do, right? So we did that. And but the only thing about it, I'm also a really country dude. So instead of just hiring somebody to do it, we just did it. And so, but it's amazing because there's a labor of love there. And in that, we have something special that I know even when people walk in, that's the first thing they recognize about it is that the people there actually love it. You know what I'm saying? And so it's the music is coming out that way.
Well, also too, I would encourage y'all, if y'all not following him, follow him on social media. Usually I let people give it themselves, but it's Wlpwr, because you can follow the journey, especially on Instagram. I used to sit there and look, and I was like,
yeah, we do some crazy things. Like, I can't front. Like, the things that happen in our circle of influence is, sometimes I sit back and I just had to thank God, because I'm like, bro, I don't even know how that happened. I mean, we literally walked into this 4,000 square foot building and built an entire.
Definitely.
It's a crazy facility, man.
Well, and it's funny too. So, wrapping up, talking about teamwork, because that's another big thing that you're very big on. I mean, big on as well. And it's funny because I think recently I was listening, I think it was episode 86 of the Free Game podcast. Yeah. That's something for y'all to check out as well, Free Game.
Yep.
And, it's funny when I was listening to it, because I'm like, man, Wlpwr does a good job of just highlighting everybody around him, because you got Brian Honore, helping
my guy.
Host. You have London producing. She's in here with us right now. And I'm like, man, I'm just looking at him like, that's something like, it's almost like, you don't even put your name. You're part of it, but you're letting all these other people get a chance to shine.
I mean, I learned a long time ago about teamwork, and honestly, my team is more important than any accolade I have. Because I can't even get to those things without it. Like, everybody knows Angie's my partner.
Right,
Angie makes sure everything floats.
Yes, yeah.
And without the team, I don't have anything. You know what I'm saying? And I recognize that. So I don't even trip about what I've accomplished, because I didn't accomplish it alone anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I go to sessions and I'm producing, but Angie or some team member is taking notes and keeping track of my, session logs and, making sure we know who was writing on songs and all these. It's a million things going on.
Yeah.
But I couldn't do it all, no matter how much I tried. So
exactly. And that's funny too, because one of the episodes recently I had talked about, if you don't get a team together, it's so easy to burn out. It's so easy to hit that wall, get so frustrated.
Facts.
And that's the thing that a lot of people just run into. And then sometimes too, you have to be willing to open yourself up, and you have to be willing to listen to. I think that's a part too, is that sometimes people don't want the people around because they're gonna point out these little things.
I also wanted to point out that while building your team, don't expect your team to be perfect. Don't expect to build a perfect team immediately either. Like, you're gonna burn through people sometimes, not in a bad way, but sometimes just to find the right people that you can gel with, the people who have the same vision, that takes time, man. I mean, I've been at this 20 years, and
right.
I'm just now super comfortable with the folks that I deal with.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And all the way down to our interns and everything. Like, we really got a tight squad now.
Yeah, and you can't let no loose cannons in there.
Oh, come on. They've been in too. But look, you got to be ready for that.
Something always sneaks in, so don't worry about that.
It's all good.
Real quick, man, give the people your social media, everything you got going on, the podcast, how to get in contact with y'all.
Everything Wlpwr is Wlpwr. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that as Wlpwr.
Right.
I have the Free Game podcast.
Free Game.
Which is at Free Game Podcast on IG. Yeah. And then there's freegameeveryday.com is where the actual website lives.
There you go.
There's Wlpwr.com.
Right.
And then if you're trying to reach me, you can hit anybody on my team. Angela Woodley is my manager, so she's Angela Woodley 1 on IG. And then you could always hit GrayMatterCollectiveStudios.com, and that's where you can find anything about us. It's a whole bunch of us, man. It's a bunch of producers. It's like we got
you've done a great job of building a community, and I think that's the cool thing about it, because I don't listen to every episode, because sometimes it's just producer wise, but you have producers on that I listen to, and it's funny because you can feel the energy that and the know-how that you have. Like, I almost feel like I want to go out and produce something after I hear.
Man,
I hear all these. I get so many tips and talk about programs.
Well, that's kind of how I do it. I got all of the producers and people that work with me are unknowns. Like, I don't have anybody on my team right now. When they first got here, they didn't have placements and things, but in the last year, we've got a whole team of unknown producers who now have they have placements now, and they have opportunities building
Yeah.
And I love that because nobody knows they're coming. You know, they come in my building and they looking for me, but I'm like, I got like some secrets over here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got a lot of things cooking.
A lot of things. So yeah,
man,
that's how it goes, man.
So as we close up and wrap up, first I want to thank you,
man,
for joining me on the round table.
I'm proud to see you here, man. You know,
I appreciate you, brother. So you know, it's funny. Can
I give a story about you?
Go ahead.
So
exclusive,
listen,
exclusive.
So Odell, man, like was one of the first people to allow me to bring an unknown artist to the show, and he was on like a radio show of some sort. I can't.
Beats and Lyrics show.
Yes, sir. Yes, and so you allowed us to come in and talk to people and get on the air and the whole nine. Yo, I just appreciate those things. And you know, for me, those are relationship building blocks. Like I'll never forget that, which is why when I see you anywhere, like that's my man. Because because people told me no. People tell me no all the time.
That's true.
And so I just try to keep track of the people who told me yes.
And so
whenever I can give you something back in return, bro, I'm here. So whatever.
I appreciate that, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. You know, it's funny though because I can't take full credit for that because J4 is my mentor.
Yeah, that's my man too.
Definitely, highlight that. But that's funny you said it too because I have to do a better job because I'm usually one of those people that take notes about who said no, so I can come back and try to call them out. So I'm getting better. I
don't worry about the no's.
That's true. See,
we can't worry about the no's.
Can't worry about the no. Who said yes?
That's right, man.
Well, I'll tell you, I needed that because I'm telling you, I'll be sitting around like, oh yeah, he said no. He said no. I remember that. Oh, you closed that door, okay. But now we're gonna worry about who said yes. But now it's funny. I think the last time I saw you though, it had me laughing. Speaking of focus. I think we was like it's A3C a couple years ago.
That's right. We was eating chicken.
Man, what's so funny? That's why I say I love like Focus. I love Wlpwr. These guys working with. I mean, we know Focus working with Dre and all this kind of stuff. I mean, this is big things, right? So I'm sitting there walking around. They make me feel like a superstar because I'm walking down the street and somebody's yelling.
I was like, yo, what's up?
And I'm like, and somebody with me there like, I think this person's hollering. I was like, what are you talking about? They look over there like, hey, man, isn't that Focus? Isn't that Wlpwr? And I was like, are they calling you? And I was like, are they calling me? And I was like, they're not calling me. And I was like,
I'm outside all country. Hey, Odell, what's up, player?
I'm telling y'all made me feel like a superstar. Everybody was like,
so good.
I didn't know Odell. I didn't know you knew people like that, man.
Yeah, man.
Nah, man. But I just really appreciate you. I think everybody can learn something is that, one of the things that I took away from it is that, you have bypassed the quick work. You always say you want to put the work in.
Yeah.
And that's with anything. I think a lot of times there's a lot of gimmicks. There's a lot of fly-by-nights. There's a lot of easy roads you can take. But at the end of the day, success leaves clues. And
come on, man.
Those things are just hard work, consistency,
yep.
Putting it in, shaking hands, meeting people, like I said, seeing how people react to you.
For sure.
Not taking things personal. Keeping track of the yeses. That's note to self right there.
Yep.
For myself. But that's the main thing. So I appreciate you, Will, stopping by.
Thank you, brother.
Y'all follow him, everything like that. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to have DJ Knots in the building. We're going to talk about Hip Hop Gives Back, all right? Support Odell for Odell's Roundtable.